Now, police in South Africa has called on the public to come forward with any information to help solve the death of a 28-year-old Hilary Gardee. Now, Gardee was last seen on Friday in a shopping plaza. A 3-year-old child that she was with at the time was later returned to an area close to her family home. But a bloodied body was recovered on Tuesday with 2 wounds on her head. Police are now trying to piece together the details of how she died, but the EFF has accused police of shoddy work in the investigations around her death. This evening, editor Candice Bailey is joining me to unpack this story for us. Good to see you, Candice. And, this is an unfolding story. What do we know about the death of Hilary?
Good evening, Suleiman, and good evening to your viewers. It's definitely a very tragic story to South Africa. We are piecing together pieces based on reports from the family, from the police, and from family friends. We do know the family spokesperson today spoke to the media and told us that the post-mortem, gave us a few more details from the post-mortem, and that was done on Hilary's body after she was found. Now, what we know from that post-mortem based on the family's reports is that there was a gunshot wound to her head, at the back of her head. So they do believe that she was shot after she was kidnapped. We also understand that she had bruises on her arms. So we understand that there may have been a struggle in terms of after she was kidnapped or while she was being kidnapped. The family also told us that cash was withdrawn from her account after she was last seen. So they do believe that money was extorted from her at the time. And one of the family friends, a mayor in Mpumalanga, the province of Mpumalanga, has told the media that her daughter was speaking about her mom being involved in a fight. So we do know that, the family are telling us that, they do believe that it was a kidnapping, but there may have been something more than just an ordinary kidnapping in South Africa. And obviously very tragic news, very, very difficult for the family to grasp what's happening, but also wanting to piece together the pieces of how their daughter disappeared and was then found in a plantation, a timber plantation by farm workers just 3 days later.
And Candice, what's the police saying about this?
So what we saw yesterday was Police Minister Becky Cele going to the family of Hilary Gardee, that would be Gardee, the EFF, former EFF Secretary General's home, saying that, they want 72 hours to find the perpetrators behind this crime. They are calling on anybody who has any information to come forward to help them, but they haven't actually given us the details of the post-mortem. So at the moment, the details of the post-mortem have only been released by the family of Hilary Gardee, who is also the EFF spokesperson, Sinawo Tambo. But they haven't really given us any more detail on exactly if there was a bullet wound, on confirming whether or not there was a bullet wound. But they are saying that they are going to try their damnedest to try and find the people who have done this to Hilary Gardee.
And the EFF, linked to Hilary's father, has accused the police of shoddy police investigations. Is this a response from the EFF on the police?
I think what we can see at the moment, Suleiman, is that their reports of the bullet wound at the back of the head have not been confirmed by the police. In fact, police never spoke about this since she was found yesterday afternoon. So they do. Their allegation is that did they even know that the bullet wound was there? Did they pick up any bullet cartridges on the scene? And obviously, that scene has now been contaminated. They are unable to recreate that scene. So is it not that the scene would have been compromised in a way? And I think they have a right to say that there has been some challenges around the police's investigation on that front. But we obviously don't know what the police have up their sleeve and what else they haven't told anybody yet or haven't even told the family yet. So the allegations of potentially shoddy work, I do think it's fair for them to put pressure on the police and to ensure that that perpetrators are brought to book. But I also want to make sure, or I'm sure the family would want to make sure, that the right people are brought to book and that police don't just arrest anybody, so that they have a person that they can blame for this murder.
So what happens from here on?
I think the next 72 hours are probably the most critical, Suleiman. The police do need to find somebody. Well, they do need to follow up on the scene of the crime, on the post-mortem. And also we need to understand whether or not anybody's come forward telling us any the bits and pieces. You know, the last we've seen of Hilary Gardee was a photo from the shopping mall, the grocery store that she was in, where she was seen pushing a trolley. Her daughter was in the trolley. She was wearing black. And that's all we know of her last known whereabouts on Friday afternoon. So, the details of piecing the puzzle together over the next few days would be critical in them trying to solve this murder and make an arrest, or even make some form of, justice for the family.
All right, we'll stay on this. Candice Bailey, many thanks for your time.